Today is Friday, April 30th, 2021. My name is Daniel Mullany, and behind the camera is Diego Juarez. Today we are filming a fully refurbished Ultratech 608 mask cleaner for SciTech Process Solutions. Our customer is located here in the US, and their PO number is 196269. So here we have our fully refurbished Ultratech 608. What I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and start by opening up the chamber door and taking a look at our substrate here. So here we have our hinges for holding the substrate on. These are loosened and then spun in order to remove the substrate itself. So here we have a large item. This is actually a probe card that our customer is high pressure cleaning the surface of. It's quite heavy. I'm going to go ahead and now lay it back in. So that's how you install it in. Then you'll, one at a time, tighten these side legs in order to ensure that the substrate stays in a good position. So now it's nice and tight right there. Inside here we also have an arm that can be used for a brush scrub. This is not included with this order, so this is a feature that is not going to be used. Then we have our high pressure wash, our N2 blow off, and our heat lamp. So pretty straightforward process here. We're going to rotate while high pressure washing, and then we're going to N2 blow off at the end along with the heat lamp to dry the substrate in the chamber. So I'll go ahead and now close the door. So it's slowly working down now. The Bemba cylinders are releasing. And I'll get the process started, then discuss as we go. So now that we're closed, we simply program start. Okay, so I'm taking a look inside the chamber now, and I can see that the spray arm is oscillating back and forth on the substrate surface with a high pressure spray. It's covering the entire substrate from end to end, and would be cleaning any debris off of the surface that might have been residual from any other process that you have. Walking through here, we have spindle RPM for the brush and dispense. This is a feature that is not used as we discussed, so that is turned down to 0. Here we have the spindle RPM, which our customer stated is a low RPM under 100 that we have already programmed in. Then we have our spindle dry RPM, which will be a higher RPM that'll be used for the drying step. So this is a simple turn knob for setting the RPM. We then have our open and close cover button. We have our DI water recirculate button, which is used to prime the pump prior to operating, or it can be left on to prevent DI water from deadlegging. We have our EMO. We have our program start feature, which we just used to start the program. And then we have our reset feature, which is used to acknowledge at the end of the process cycle. Over here we have our pre-dispense feature, which is not being used because we are not using the brush scrub. We have our high pressure, which is initiated because we are using the high pressure pump. We have our brush, which is off because we are not using the brush scrub. And then we have our final dispense, which is on, which isn't actually a dispense, but is the N2 blow off. So that's the N2 that's going to blow out of that nozzle that I showed you on the high pressure spray arm. Okay, now we are ramping up to our higher RPM. I can see that the spray arm is finishing its last cycles as the substrate is now ramping up. So although the arm is still oscillating back and forth because the N2 blow off is happening, there's no more water being pumped out of the high pressure spray arm. So this is operating correctly where we can see it initiating with the cycle and the N2 blow off. After that process is complete, this heat lamp will turn on and we'll see this chamber glow. And that's how we know that the heat lamp is providing the final drying. Lastly, we have this controller here, which is used for programming the times for the different steps. This controller is actually a little bit of an overkill in terms of its features and capabilities for a system for what we're using it for, but it's the proper one included on this tool, And in a separate video, we're going to review the programming so you can understand how to set the times for this. We do that in a separate video because it's a little overcomplicated for the programming, but once you see the documentation, it's not too complicated, but it's better set in its own programming video. So while this is running, I'm actually going to now take a look underneath the process chamber. So you probably can't see from up there, but taking a look under here, we have 4 new filters for the system. We have our high pressure pump with its own PSI gauge. We have pneumatic control pressures for both the nitrogen and the CDA as needed. We have solenoid valves that operate the Bimba cylinders to run back and forth. And then we have our motor here, which is going to control the RPM of the system. So everything under here is cleaned out, looks great, and many of the items were replaced and repaired in order to provide the system with in excellent condition, along with a 6-month warranty. Okay, back to the top, and as I mentioned, this chamber is now glowing. That lets us know that the heat lamp is now active. At this point is when the spray arm will now stay to the side. So you do the end tube blow off step first, then you're going to do the heat lamp step. So this prevents the heat lamp from just baking directly down on top of the spray arm. Coming to the back of the tool, everything looks good. We have our plug-in for the heat lamp and the main system power. We have our drain out, which is just for the DI water. We have the compressed air input, our nitrogen inputs, our carbon dioxide input, which is important for reionizing the water, so that way you're not spraying DI water onto the surface, which can have an effect from the high pressure of DI water. And we have our exhaust hooked up. So the system has its own small exhaust pump. That works okay, but will require generally longer dry times. So what we do is and what we suggest for our customer is that you hook up house exhaust to the system as well. You can pull 50 to 100 CFM out and really improve the drying capability of the system and improve your overall process times. Okay. So one of the downsides to this system is that unfortunately it doesn't have a timer that shows the remaining process time, but it does demonstrate here what our spindle RPM is, and right now we're running about 16 to 1800 RPM. What we did was we programmed this system to run to our customer specification because they currently own one of these tools already, and this one will be adding to their process line. Okay. So now the process is complete. So we can see that the red reset light has come on. This is now an indication to the user that they can come over and end the process cycle for this. Kind of has a similar sound to many other systems that you find in the fab, such as wet sinks, deposition tools, or otherwise. So what we do is you come over and press reset, which says, yes, I acknowledge that the system has now completed its process cycle. We're now going to open the top cover. And take a look inside. So everything looks great inside here. You're going to have residual water around the chamber, that's as expected, but the substrate surface itself is completely dry. So you can see no water is coming off, and the arms are still tight here on the sides. I can also take a look at the chuck, and I see that there is no more water on the chuck itself either. It's only residual in the chamber. So this system operated exactly as expected. All right, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to view our video source inspection for today. Again, my name is Daniel Mullany, and this system was filmed for SciTech Process Solutions. If you'd like to learn more about this tool or any other equipment that we sell, please visit our website at www.scitechprocess.com. That's SITEK process.com, or give us a call at 916-797-9000, and to reach me directly, dial extension 2201. Thanks again, and have a great day.